cozy friends, and welcome to a cozy week in my life. It feels like we're starting to get settled in here in Australia. This week I am probably going to be doing a little bit of knitting and reading as usual, so we're going to follow along on those projects and the books I'm reading, and I'm hoping to do a little bit of exploring this weekend. I am currently reading Weyward by Amelia Hart, which I'm going to talk about more soon. And last night I actually cast on a new knitting project I am so very excited about. I cast on the August sweater, and I'll put the pattern on the screen right now. When we were going to the shops, I actually stumbled upon a craft store, so I grabbed some new yarn, and it's a nice chocolate brown wool. I'm very excited to work with it, so I'll probably share my progress on that throughout this week and my reading. Let me know what cozy things you're working on or reading this week. But also this week is Taylor Swift's new album release, so I'll probably be talking about that a little bit, and hopefully sharing some clips of us exploring Canberra. And this week will probably hopefully involve lots of autumnal walks because it is such nice weather here right now. But without any further ado, let's get cozy. How far I got before I realized I'm gonna have to undo all of this. I was doing the increases around the raglan stitches and the front and back, but I forgot to do increases on each end, so my stitch count is off. I did everything else right, so I'm probably gonna have to start this completely over, which really sucks because it's looking so beautiful and I made it so far. In my last video, I shared a whole lot about our move abroad and what it was like getting here, but I really want to talk what it's like being here. I think since I've been here, we've really been resting and recovering and trying to just settle in and get our bearings, and that's taking definitely longer than I expected, but I should have definitely expected different. I think I've been leaning a lot into my cozy hobbies in order to feel like myself, even though we are in a completely new place, and that's been helping me a lot. We've also had to be a lot more flexible with our routine since getting here because of Arthur struggling to sleep because of all this big change and transition. He's struggling with it just as much as we are, and we have to make space for that, for him and for ourselves. But I think for the most part, we are settling in pretty well, and we're really looking forward to exploring more, and we're hoping to go to the zoo this weekend, so hopefully some of that is in this vlog. we have gone on a nice little walk and I have been working on reading Weyward. I have to finish it very soon. It returns to my library tomorrow, but this morning I was on 30% done and now I'm at 58%, page 239 out of like 380. So I'm well on my way to finishing this book, but I still have some ways to go. So yeah, I'm probably not gonna finish it by the time it would automatically return. I'm gonna do the airplane mode trick. I try to avoid doing that too often, but it'll still be available on my Kindle until I can finish it. I've been sneaking in as many pages as I could this morning, and then I've been reading all through my son's nap. Even when he woke up and I needed to nurse him back to sleep, I was reading right behind his back. So I'm very much enjoying this book. I love that we're following the timelines of 3 women in the Weyward bloodline, and each of their stories have my heart. So I'm probably going to spend the rest of this day just devouring this book. I'm girl who thought the world was gonna fall apart, but actually I just needed a shower and like 30 minutes to myself. So yesterday I didn't vlog literally anything. I was having such a bad mental health day. I literally spent Arthur's entire nap just laying on the couch crying. I thought about knitting or reading, but I just like literally didn't care about anything. I wanted to shower, but we don't have a baby monitor here because it broke when we were flying here. I can't shower without I won't be able to tell if he's crying. I'll just imagine that he is the whole time and jump out of the shower checking on him. When my husband got home, I was like, I'm showering, bye. And then he took Arthur to the park and I just had a very calming moment to myself, decided that the world wasn't ending. I do feel really far removed from the world right now. I feel like we're on a different planet. I thought when we moved here to Australia that the world in the United States would just kind of pause while we're gone. But once we got closer to this move date, I realized that wasn't true. One of our family members, one of his brothers, told us that they're having a baby while we're gone and getting married. And that the second I found out, I was overjoyed, but I just burst into tears because we're missing a wedding, we're missing a baby being born in our family. It dawned on me then that the world was gonna keep happening in the United States. It doesn't just pause while we're over here on our little adventure. And I don't think that felt real to me until that moment. And now that we're here, in this span of time in the morning, people are still awake in the United States. I'm 14 hours ahead of people in the New York time zone and then 15 hours ahead of my sister right now. There is a window of time where I am able to talk to people. I just feel emotionally so distant. So I've just been really leaning into my cozy hobbies, but struggling to feel like there's a sense of purpose out here. But right now we're just settling in and I need to just let that be what it is right now. And that's okay. I just have to get out and make some friends soon. It's just hard when I haven't gotten used to driving on the other side of the road. So I can't take my husband to work and have the car yet until I get comfortable with that. We're gonna go buy a stroller so that I can try to walk with Arthur and explore the area. We're not in the city, but there are a lot of paths nearby. This is the most well-planned city literally ever. Canberra is the capital of Australia and it's literally known to be the most well-planned city or the first planned city. So it's super walkable even if you're not right near the shops. I'm able to just take a path that's by our house. All the parks are connected, all the shops are connected to our walking trails. You may have to walk a ways, but they're connected. And that's really nice. So I'm hoping to just get out of the house more because I think that's really good for my nervous system and my mental health. But before my mental health crisis, I did finish Weyward. It was Such an amazing read. It was so powerful. I binged from page 150 to the end, which was like almost 400 pages in one day. But Weyward was such a powerful read. It was very like dark, witchy, feminist vibes. I really loved the intergenerational storyline of three women with the same bloodline. You're following their stories, elements of like maternal ties, the things that are passed down to you through the generations, but also how like men try to stamp down women's power by, for example, calling them witches and trying to burn them at the stake, or in a more modern take, like domestic violence. So it's a very heavy read. It's very dark, honestly triggering for probably many people. Trigger warnings for so many things. I'll put them on the screen here so that you know whether or not this book is for you. I really enjoyed it. It was 5 stars. I saw some of the other reviews were not as positive because they felt like it was just too dark and like felt like really hopeless. I honestly love when books explore discussions like this. I honestly think the really dark theme allowed it to hold the weight that the message was meant to women's power and women's rage, how valid it is, and also the weights we carry of the women before us and how we can learn from them or take what they learned and use it to fuel our own power. So highly recommend Weyward if you get around to reading it. And then I saw that the author actually has a siren book coming out soon, which is very fun, like siren mythology. I have been working on plotting a siren story for, many years, honestly, but in the past year especially. So it's really exciting to see that, even though like the aspiring writer in me is like, oh no, someone's doing the thing I'm already doing. But I have my own voice to add to the whole thing. So I'm very excited to read that from her because her writing was very beautiful. It was so atmospheric. Really excited for that. And then a knitting update. Again, I haven't knit much in the last few days. I worked on it some. I don't know if I showed you that I did join the work in the round. I caught back up to where I was and was able to join the work in the round. So this is the neck. I don't know why it looks like such a V-neck. It's not. I'm following the pattern. I think it's right. I have done the cables, the first cables on the front, and soon I will be making the first cable in the very middle, but it's coming along so beautifully. I'm really, really happy with it. I did already say, but I don't think that the neckline instructions were very clear, but from where I am now, the pattern is way more clear once you're past the neckline. As far as what I'm going to be reading now, I'm not sure what I'm going to be reading next. I did have 2 other holds in from the library. I'm not sure if I'm going to finish them in time, and I just don't really feel like rushing through another read. I'm just not in the headspace for that kind of thing. I really need to devote myself to myself and my home and my family right now. But let's talk about the Tortured Poets department. I was not ready for the message I got this morning. One of my dear friends that I've been friends with for over 10 years now, because we were friends from the One Direction community, exposing myself. She sent me the Tortured Poets department leak. I do not want access to that right now. But I have it, and so I may listen. I know I shouldn't, but listen, she's a billionaire. I love Taylor. I'm cheering for her. I will listen to her and I will stream her as soon as it's on YouTube Music. But girlie should not have been trying to charge us all $20 to rent a movie that we'd already paid to see in theaters, and some had already paid to see in concert. $20 to rent? Nay, I should own anything I spend $20 on. For that reason, I feel like it would be acceptable if I listen to the leak. So I may knit right now and listen to the Tortured Poets department for the first time. I am only a few songs in to this album, but let me just say, My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys is that this is why we can't have nice things of this album.
I only listened to the first few songs before my son woke up, so we snuggled while I read so he could finish his nap. I didn't end up listening to any more of the leak besides The Black Dog. I didn't think that was going to be available on release day. I started reading The Fragile Threads of Power by V.E. Schwab. She's one of my favorite authors, and her writing is so inspiring to me and so beautiful. So I'm really excited that this hold finally came in from my library.
Hi friends, it is April 19th and I, along with every other Swiftie on the planet, have been eagerly awaiting this date, but I for some reason did the math wrong and thought I was going to be getting the album tomorrow. Thought it came out at midnight New York time on the 19th, but it meant like 18th going into the 19th in New York. So instead of getting it at 2 p.m. on the 20th here, we're actually getting it on 2 p.m. on the 19th. So we are getting the album in 2 hours and I am so excited. As a folklore girly, I am repping my favorite album and hoping that the Tortured Poets department will have folklore vibes because I just cannot get enough of the sad girl vibes. I did listen to a few sneak peeks. After I listened to the full album, we are going to pick up a stroller for my son, which makes me really happy because I've been feeling really stuck in the house during my husband's work week. So it's going to be really good for me to be able to get out of the house with him and go to some play groups once they start back up. I'll be able to go make some mom friends and Arthur will get some socialization too, which will be really nice.
What is happening? Guys, I'm in my car and Taylor just tailored so hard. I got a tweet that she dropped a whole second album, like 15 more songs. I can't even listen right now yet. Oh my God. My sister's not even awake anymore. She went to sleep after listening to the first album.
So I just listened to the Tortured Poets department and I have thoughts. I'm definitely still getting to know the album and it's probably going to grow on me more in the coming days, but my initial thoughts are it feels like every song was written after a re-recording of her former albums that she's been releasing the Taylor's versions of, because it feels like they're all very reflective of her older songs and her older experiences that she's revisited, but she's looking at it with a new perspective and sharing that new perspective with us. And it's very beautiful and I can't wait to like learn all the words to these songs. I think I filmed a clip after listening to My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys and how it feels like this is why we can't have nice things. But as I kept listening to the rest of the songs, there's some that are like, you know, very new experiences that she's talking about. I'm really enjoying that older perspective, but I also really liked in But Daddy, I Love Him, how she feels so young in that. Like it's like she's thrown right back into that teenage feeling of, oh, but I love him and you guys are like being so judgmental and you don't understand how love and heartbreak make you resort back to those teenage feelings of just being so angsty or so just throw everything away for this boy. I think it's just very real and I'm looking forward to getting to know these songs more, but I'm actually filming this after the anthology also dropped on us because I was going to film my thoughts later, and it's honestly so overwhelming how many songs we now have. Like I feel like I don't even know where to start, how to get to know all these songs, because like it feels like a full-time job to just like sit and learn all of these songs. I'm really excited about the anthology. It's very my vibe. It's exactly what I was expecting from this album, but I love that we get both. Like if you really like when she works with Jack, you get that vibe. I love how I Can Do It With a Broken Heart has that vibe of like, I don't know if I should dance or cry right now. But if you like her work with Aaron, you get the sad girl, folklore girl vibes, which is very me, obviously. I love that we get both by getting a side A and side B of this album. On Saturday, we went to the zoo and we were really excited to see kangaroos and other Australian animals that we don't have back in the States. We actually saw some really cute cuddly koalas sleeping in trees. And we had lunch while looking out over the lion exhibits, which was really amazing. It was the nicest autumnal weather that day and we just had a really lovely day. It feels like we're finally settled in and able to explore. It was a really nice first outing as a family since we got here. On Sunday morning, we picked up some brunch and some iced coffees and we drove to the top of Mount Ainslie, which overlooks the capital and all of Canberra. It's a really nice, well-planned city and it was such beautiful landscapes. you so much for watching this cozy week in my life. Don't forget to tell me down below what you are working on or reading this week, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any more cozy videos. And I hope you have a very cozy rest of your week.